The we consisted of my mother and father and their 4 children. I was the oldest of 4 daughters. I was then 8 years old. My aunt and uncle and their 3 children, the ages of my younger sisters. And we kept hiding in different fields under different stacks and moved every night until we heard a miraculous whistle. And the miraculous whistle was that of a man named Stanislav Grocholski from a little town called Mokshanka at the time. It has disappeared from the map. It is now part of another community. But Mr. Grocholski had been a childhood friend of my mother's and my uncle's. And when he heard that we were in trouble, he found us. He marched around in the fields at night until he found us. What an unusual thing for a man to do, to seek out a radioactive community in order to help them, instead of enjoying the safety of his own home. And it is these people, these nonconformers, these people of extraordinary courage and vision who know what is right when everyone around them is doing wrong. It is these people who need to be before our eyes' view. We need to think of them and be inspired by them and to do that which is unusual, to extend a helping hand to those who need it badly. And so I bring to your attention Mr. Stanislav Grocholski. There are others. There is, for example, the lady on the ship. When we finally survived the war because of Mr. Grocholski's efforts, he protected us, he sheltered us, he fed us, he did all he could for us in his little attic of the little home he lived in. When we finally survived the war and were chased out of Poland by other Poles who brought the message that the Jews are an evil people, as they had been demonized in history, that these evil people should be destroyed, and it is too bad that Hitler hadn't finished the job. When we finally survived and came home to a town that was now empty of Jews, Mr. Grocholski's 12 Jews were all that remained of my Jewish town. When we finally came home, we had visitors one night, and the young men from a nearby town came in and said, "You are Jews. We don't want you in Poland. Go back where you came from. Go to Palestine, you dirty, Christ-killing Jews. If you stay here, we will come back and kill you." Hearing that and knowing what had just happened, we knew that our days there were numbered. And so we left, and we became displaced persons. We left our house sometime in the spring of 1945. We wandered the European destroyed continent until November 1947. In November of 1947, we boarded, probably it was the end of October, because we landed in the States on November 10th, and the journey was more than 10 days aboard ship. When we boarded that ship, the Marine Flasher, and I jumped onto a bunk that found favor in my eyes, a woman of my country then, Poland, came to me and said to me, "You dirty little Jew, who the hell do you think you are to take the bunk I wanted? Hitler should have killed all of you. And if I had my way, you would be dead. No doubt, I betrayed the sense of total hopelessness, fearfulness, worthlessness, because the matron on the ship, a black lady, came near, evaluated the situation, realized that this woman was victimizing the child that I was. And she put her arms around me, took me to her chest, and cradled me for comfort. Another person whom we should emulate. She gave what I needed the most. She gave me comfort. She gave me a sense of being a human being that had worth. She should not be forgotten. We in the Jewish community call people like the people I mentioned, we call them the righteous among the nations. They are. They are very few, but they are there. And our future depends on people such as they. They teach us by their example, and we need to learn and then to tell others. And our pupils, I hope, will tell others that little people can do great things, and as these little people have done. And of course, I would like to leave you on a happy note. And I'd like to tell you that when I started school in the United States on November 11th, the day after my arrival, I had never gone to school. I knew nothing about nothing. I was totally lost. I didn't know a word of English. Nevertheless, I was encouraged to keep trying. And people were helping me. I had tutors galore, and I had a special tutor, a young boy who gave up playing ball so he could tutor me in math. And he tutored me for 4 years of high school math. And he taught me many other things. He taught me about truth, about honesty, about love. Today, he and I have 2 children, 4 grandchildren, and a very nice life, a very nice life. In order to celebrate this wonderful life that we live, we sometimes treat ourselves to a trip here and there. And a couple of summers ago, we were in France, and we went to Normandy. It touched my heart deeply to see all those crosses and the minorities of Stars of David, of American soldiers who died. And because they died, I live. And I am going to make the best of that life. Their lives were not wasted. I will do what I can to repay in some small measure. And then on the museum in Normandy, an author whose identity is unknown wrote, "Suffering broke me." He summarized my life. Suffering did break me. Brotherhood restored me. From my wounds sprang fountains of freedom. And how I revel in that freedom. How I enjoy it. How good I feel about saying what I think, what I dream, what I fear, and I dream that the world will be a better place. I fear that we're close to losing, but we won't. We won't. If I survived, we can win again, and we will enjoy. And I thank you. Thank you very much.